Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a Screenwriter's Rant on Fakes, a new TV series by Netflix. And it's the story of two crazy teenagers who are best friends who accidentally build and lose one of the largest fake ID empires in North America. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's The Pineys, books 1 through 9. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So, the premise is two high school friends, one of which happens to be very talented at making fake IDs. And she learned off the internet. I assume this is a few years ago. I know that back in the 80s, when I was in college, there was a guy on my campus who was busted with fake IDs, and I believe the fine was a $500 per ID, and he got caught with, like, I don't know, 30 of them or something. And anyhow, it starts as cheeky teenage nonsense, but then they start selling IDs to this guy, and he wants 200 of them. And they at first start making them for their friends and him, I guess. But now, at some point, when the cops get a little too close, they want to back out. But of course, he doesn't want them to back out, because this is the problem with getting involved in criminals. They're ruthless sometimes. They don't mind breaking the law, including, in this case, showing up to your high school and intimidating you. Give me 200 fake IDs or $30,000 in cash. So then they're forced to do it, but eventually they get caught and go to jail. And that is not a small crime when you're faking IDs. It is not. So it's called Fakes. Looks pretty good. September 2nd. I mean, I like the realism of it, in that at first it starts out as cheeky fun, but then it just gets too real, and they get caught. They go to jail. It's not like they find some clever way to get out of it. They're screwed. And it goes to show you, the allure of crime. And it is fun and profitable at first. It's easy at first. It's not that crime doesn't pay. Oh, crime pays. The problem is it eventually catches up with you. And the problem with criminals is they're always looking for a shortcut. And the ones that are good at crime, they eventually figure out, well, I understand to avoid crime, I get somebody else to actually do the criminal act, and then just reap the rewards. So to some extent, yes, he's committing a criminal act by reselling their fake IDs, but it gives him plausible deniability to some extent. I didn't know they were fake, but that doesn't really matter in that crime, now that I think about it. But it gives him more control, right? He can turn them in, the people who make the IDs, and tell them, oh, it was all them. Then that's what criminals do. They'll screw you in a heartbeat, especially if you're, it's different for the mafia or organized crime organization, families. There are rules in place that you're not going to rat anybody out. Not that that doesn't happen anyway, but for the most part, the consequences are much more dire if you break those rules. The money is slightly better, but ultimately it's still a life of crime, and you end up in prison or dead. A few guys get out. In this case, there's not a lot of getting out here, and that's the way it kind of ends up in real life. You probably end up going to jail, or, if you're lucky and it's a first offense, maybe they go easy on you. And but when the show looks like they make thousands of dollars and start blowing it and doing teenage things, it is really fun in the beginning, but in the end, it is not fun, because then you go to prison, then you get a record, and then you're digging yourself out of a big hole. So I like the movie seems to portray that aspect of crime. So the first, can't really break it down to 3 acts because it's a series. So the first act is, the early acts, early episodes are about them having a great time, making fake IDs, being popular in school. It's all cheeky fun. They even start making some money. Eventually, the warning signs are there, but they ignore them because they're in school, and you can kind of ignore those warning signs at first. But when they get involved in actual crime and it gets a little too real and they want to leave, the criminals are there to go, you're not leaving. You don't leave until I say you leave. Or we're going to have a problem. So then they're trapped, and then they try to make the IDs to get out or whatever they do. Eventually they get caught. And then they go to prison or whatever. I'm not sure how this would end. Maybe the first season, they go to prison and then they get out and they have to do it all again. I don't know. The other bad thing about crime is once you've done it once, it's kind of a situation where you may get out of prison, then you're really deep in the hole, and then the temptation is even larger. Well, I'll just do it again, but this time I'll be smarter about it, get myself out of the hole, and then I'll just walk away. But again, the money's there, it's very tempting, and it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out. Not every criminal wants out. Some criminals want to stay in forever because they are smarter than you and they can always throw you under the bus to skate free. So, it looks funny and fun, but at the same time it does look like it's taking a hard line on criminality. So, I might watch this. Teenage best friends Zoe and Becca set out to build their own fake ID empire. But when the business starts booming, their life of crime gets way too real. Yeah, maybe. It's not bad. It's not bad. It looks like something in my Mafia game to some extent. But yeah, don't do crime is the rule of thumb. So I might check it out on Netflix, see if the story's any good. The execution seems pretty good though. I like the leads. I like the blonde guy, the criminal. He looks good. It's all good. It's Fakes on Netflix, September 2nd. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. Today is a news blast and why I'm not seeing these movies. So that's it. I got to get to bed. We'll see you with more sleep tomorrow.